Chapter 1 The Thief. Rat eyed the purse and followed its owner as he meandered through the market square. It was a fat purse tied to an even fatter waist, and the hunger in his gut demanded he make it his. The hunger in his soul demanded so much more than simply a purse and food, but he tried not to think about that. Rat darted out of his shadow, scurried the short distance to a fruit vendor's stall, and hid behind it, keeping his good eye focused on the purse. One of his many flea bites demanded his attention. He moved slowly — quick movements drew attention — slipped a hand through a rent in his muddy cloak of rags, and scratched at it, his eye following the purse. Fat Purse wandered aimlessly, eyeing the vendor's goods. Rat was too short to see over the stall, which was only waist-high for big people, so he leaned out of the shadow and peered around the edge to follow the fat man's progress. "Away with ye, scum!" the fruit vendor shouted, hurling a spoiled apple at him. Rat sidestepped the throw and caught the apple, pleased he'd acquired a bit of food without resorting to theft. He scurried between the market booths and disappeared into another shadow. With mud and horse manure squishing between his toes, he ate the rotten apple while his eye tracked the purse through the market. His stomach grumbled with satisfaction, then growled a demand for more. Heavy rains the night before had turned the dirt streets into a quagmire. The crowds in the market were thin, and the vendors looked nervous and edgy. They'd drive off anything that turned customers away, especially something like Rat. He knew he must understand these things to survive. Something drizzled down his left cheek. He reached up and wiped it away, a smear of pus on his fingertips. The boil next to his left eye had opened. He hoped the swelling would lessen and allow him to see again, though by then new eruptions would form, so he didn't expect much relief. He reached into his rags and retrieved an object the size of the tip of his littlest finger — gesh. He placed the hard, woody substance on his tongue and began chewing. It mixed with saliva to form a fibrous mass that tasted both bitter and sweet. He let some of the juice trickle down his throat, and it immediately lessened the throbbing in his eye. Somehow gesh made the cold nights of winter warmer, and it softened the filthy straw of his bed. Rat had learned that gesh was good, and the lack of it bad. The last of his supply had dwindled to no more than a taste or two hidden away in his den, so he needed that purse, needed it badly. A rock smashed painfully into his cheek, sent him sprawling into the mud. "It's Rat!" a young boy shouted. "Get him!" Rat jumped to his feet and ran a zigzag pattern to the nearest shadow. He paused there, then changed shadows as another rock sailed his way. He skipped randomly from shadow to shadow, hoping to confuse anyone tracking him, then froze into stillness and waited. There were 3 of them, boys not much larger than him, searching the shadows and seeking a little sport. If there had been more, he would have feared them, for when they banded together in large numbers it became difficult to elude them, and often he must hide in his lair until they lost interest. But this time there were too few, and they'd chosen the wrong shadows to search. They had surprised him only because he was too absorbed in his pursuit of the fat purse, and he'd let the pleasure of the gesh distract him.